You like bread. Hi guys. It's been a while since I've talked to you. As you can see, I have a completely different haircut. It's a little bit wet, so it'll probably fix itself during the duration of this video. But today, I wanted to come and talk to you about something that's very important in my life, aka bread. For those of you who don't know, I have become a bread connoisseur over the last couple of months, I would say. My mom got me a Dutch oven, which if you're thinking about making your own bread is an essential. Please buy it. I found mine at Sam's Club, I think. One of those bigger stores for like $40, and she mailed it back to me in a big box with a bunch of other stuff when I went to visit my parents in October, so a couple of months ago, as an early Christmas present. So here I have all of my ingredients to make the bread. Okay, so I think this is a little bit better of an angle for you guys to see everything that's happening over here, but this is going to be kind of like a two-part video. So if you want to make this bread, make sure that you have a couple of days, because it does have to sit and rise overnight for 24 hours. So just keep that aspect in mind. You do definitely need a Dutch oven for this. That's how I'm going to be doing all of the baking and everything. So if you don't have that, you can find a lot of them at thrift stores, or you can buy them online or at Target or Walmart or anything like that. You could probably bake it in like just a normal piece of glassware if you wanted to, but the best results are going to be in a Dutch oven. So just wanted to establish that before we get into making the dough. I will say that I'm going to be looking at my phone because I did not create this recipe. This recipe is by this username. I found it on TikTok, and she has a video all about making this bread. I am going to modify the recipe a little bit because I'm making a sourdough loaf rather than a regular loaf. You can choose what you would like to do with it. You could add some herbs in, make it like a rosemary loaf. You could leave it as is and it's still chef's kiss. Yeah, just do whatever you want. You decide. But I have here my lovely sourdough starter, which if you are interested, I can talk about how I made this bad boy. Basically, it is in a little container. It's fermented. It's got some bubbles going on in there, and it smells very interesting. But this has been sitting for a couple of months now. Basically, you need to start that far before you make this bread if you do want to make a sourdough loaf. So basically what I did is I took a cup of flour and a half a cup of water to start it out, I believe. I'll put the recipe that I followed to make the sourdough starter on the screen. It's from King Arthur. I did not use bread flour. Maybe it was a cup of bread flour, or a cup of whole wheat flour, and then a cup of normal flour, and a full cup of water. I'm unsure, that's why I'm going to put it on the screen. But basically you do that, and then you have to feed it with a cup of regular flour and a half a cup of water every single day. That's basically what you have to do for this. You have to keep it in a warm environment, and like throw some away, feed it, throw some away, feed it, and after about a week to a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how your starter works, your temperature in your home, all that kind of stuff, you can start to use it to put into things like pizza dough. I made a pizza dough recently with sourdough in it, and bread, rolls, bagels, anything you can dream, you can make sourdough. That's bread, at least. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking about that and take out my lovely instruments from in here. There's some excess water in there. Don't know why that's there. Don't need that. You're gonna put your dough hook on your KitchenAid mixer. You can also make this recipe if you don't have a KitchenAid mixer. I just like to use the dough hook because it makes things easier, but you can just use your hands if you would like. So I have flour in this lovely coffee thing, and I only have this as a cup because for some reason our measuring single cup is gone, and the rest of them are these very much 80s looking measuring cups, but they're only 2/3 of a cup and 3/4 of a cup instead of like 1 cup and a half a cup. I really don't understand why. But that's why I'm working with this, even though this is supposed to be for wet ingredients only. Sorry, a little chaotic. You are going to make a mess. That's a little bit more than a cup. Again, I will not be using exact measurements, but basically you're putting in 3 cups of flour, and that's like almost 1-ish, maybe a little bit more. Ooh. Nope, now that's too much. That's good enough. 2 and 3-ish. I did pass math, I swear. So there is that, and that's all the flour that we need, so we can put that away over here until I have to feed my sourdough starter later. We take our active dry yeast. You can use instant dry yeast. I'm honestly not really sure what the difference is, but I'm just gonna use this one because you can use it for traditional baking and bread machines. You have to make sure that you refrigerate this or freeze after opening and use within 4 months, it says. So I am doing a half a teaspoon of this, but I only have 1/4 a teaspoon measuring, so we're gonna do 2/4 of a teaspoon of that into the flour. Pop it back in the fridge, and then 1.5 teaspoons of salt if you're being exact. I just pour some in my hand because I'm a salty bitch. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Who doesn't need salt in their bread? Everyone should have salt in their bread. And we're gonna put that there because you're near my cabinet. And we do 1.5 cups of water. So I'm just gonna reuse this. Yep, rinse it off. For this, I would say you can use like lukewarm water. It's just gonna activate the yeast a little bit faster and make it start rising a little bit faster. So that's 1 cup. And then 1/2 cup of water. And that's basically it for the bread. Now, because I'm making a sourdough, I'm going to add in a little bit of my sourdough stuff. So you want to make sure that if you have your starter, this is before you've fed it that day. Because if you just fed it, it's not fermented and isn't going to properly make a sourdough bread. So I just kind of honestly pour in however much I think. Usually you do like about a cup of this, depending on how much bread you're making. That's probably good enough. And then I'm going to feed this, so I'm going to put that over there. And now we mix. Make sure to mix on your lowest setting first. Otherwise, shit gets everywhere.
The mirror's image, it tells me it's home time, but I'm not finished, 'cause you're not by my side. And as I arrived, I thought I saw you leaving, carrying your shoes Decided that once again I was just dreaming of bumping into you. Now it's 3 in the morning and I'm trying to change your mind. Left you multiple missed calls and to my message you replied. Why'd you only call me when you're high?
So it is pretty good, pretty elasticy. It's all together. How I knew that it was ready is it starts like coming off the sides of the pan in one clump. But because it is a sourdough, and I did add that extra kind of cup of flour and liquid, I am probably going to need to add a little bit more flour in the folding process tomorrow. But right now it is a little bit, you know, sticky. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. We're gonna leave that for now. If I need to add in some flour, that'll happen in the folding process. And I also don't want to mix it too much because then it gets tough and it's gonna be too dense when it bakes. So that's basically all that we can do today. I'm going to cover that with some plastic wrap. This is really not my favorite thing to use. I would prefer not to use plastic wrap, but it does make the best seal for the bread to rise. Other recommendations is transferring your bread from a metal bowl or another bowl into one that has a lid, like a Tupperware container. So you can just make sure the lid is airtight and then your bread will rise in there. I've done that with pizza dough before, but I prefer not to take the bread out of its little home right now. So I'm gonna do this for now. If anyone has any suggestions of plastic wrap that is reusable, please let me know. Or if I can buy like lids for my KitchenAid thing bowl, that would definitely be a better solution. But wow, this is really hard. Here we go. Here she is. If I can do it properly. There she is. I'm gonna cover her with this kitchen towel as well and stick her over here. I don't know why I'm calling her, but I guess we've named her. And that's going to sit for about 24 hours. I do have work tomorrow, so it'll probably be a little bit more than that, but that's totally fine. Yeah, so we're gonna go to tomorrow. Let your bread marinate. Hi guys, so it's the next day and I am very, very dumb and I did not realize that my microphone was off. So here's my roommate coming and saying she loves bread. And basically I'm showing you the dough and we're going to take it out of the bowl and then put some flour first on the surface because it's very sticky and I hate having bread stick to the counter. Really annoying. Dough stick to the counter. Why do I keep calling it bread? Anyway, we're going to do that. You want to flour your hands. And especially for this one with the sourdough, I got a lot of flour because it was more sticky than a normal dough, and also because of you adding the cup of sourdough starter, it does make it more liquidous, so you do have to add just a little bit more flour sometimes. So yeah, I'm basically putting this on top of the flour, and then I'm going to put a lot more flour on top and then fold it. So I'm not kneading it with my knuckles. I'm basically taking one part of the bread, folding it towards the middle, and then just doing that about
20 times around, and yeah, folding it on top of itself. You'll see it get less liquidy and less sticky as we continue folding it, but you're going to do this process, and then you're going to kind of, I always put more flour on the bottom so that it doesn't stick to the table while you are waiting for it to rise for an hour. So you're doing this process, and then you're going to leave the dough on the table, put the plastic wrap back over on top of it, and then set a timer for an hour, or just keep track of the time for an hour. Let it sit there so it can rise a little bit, and then you're going to repeat the entire process again. I didn't show this on camera because I thought it was a bit repetitive to show you guys twice. You probably understand from me just showing you once, but I left it for an hour and then I came back and did the same amount of folding. You do have to add a little bit more flour to both your hands as well as the dough itself. And yeah, then after that you let it sit for another hour with the plastic wrap, and I always put like a tea towel or a dish towel on top of it as well, just to cover it, and then you can continue on with the process. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm grabbing my plastic wrap and putting it over top, and then I'm going to lay a tea towel over that. And then you're all set. You can wash your bowl, and we will come back in another hour to do that second round, and then you are all set for baking. So here I have my hot Dutch oven ready to go. Ooh, she's spicy. I put her in while my oven preheated. That is essential to a crispy crust of your dough. And crispy, flaky, buttery. If anyone knows what that's from, you're the true OG. It's not from my channel, it's from something else, but okay. And then the dough goes into the pat. You just kind of slap it in there. And now you're putting it in with the cover on for 30 minutes. And then we're gonna take the cover off and cook it for another 15 minutes. And then I will be back. We'll check in between. Here I am pulling my loaf out of the oven. All right. Ooh, some steam. Close the oven so you don't get the heat out. Now I'm gonna do something you don't have to do. You can just take the top off. But I wanted to put this butter.
Where's the butter from?
Olive Garden!
Did you steal it?
This video was sponsored by Olive Garden.
It is not.
That's a lie. I did not steal the butter from Olive Garden. I got it in takeout. Ooh, it's sizzling. I'm just gonna put it over the top. I didn't think it was gonna sizzle that much. Yup, this is not a required step.
This is a don't do it.
This is a probably don't do this step. And there we go. I know, I'm gonna put the garlic salt on top too. He's really talking to me today. A little sprinkle of garlic salt. A big sprinkle of garlic salt. And we now have one big breadstick from Olive Garden. Once again, I have changed my outfit. And now we leave the top off, pop her back in the oven for 15 more minutes, and we'll have the end result for you.
you for ticket to my performance as Toadette. What if they made that into a Broadway musical? That was pretty good. Here's my loaf. She's Beauty. She's Grace.
You're Grace.
I'm Grace. I'm going to pry her out of here if I can find a spatula. Oh. Will my tower of dishes come down?
There's one in the drawer.
I don't think it's there anymore.
There's one in the drawer.
There is not one in the drawer.
Then you shouldn't have taken it out of the drawer.
This woman?
Yeah, finish your sentence.
Nope, I'm not gonna say anymore. Ooh, it's hot. Be careful. Make sure you're careful taking this out of the pot.
Yeah, because everybody has a Dutch oven.
Or your pan, whatever you're using. I mentioned that at the beginning.
I wasn't there.
Oh my god.
This
Okay.
video didn't become interesting until I arrived.
Yeah. You can comment down below what you think about that. There she is, the loaf. Ready for consumption after you wait like 10 minutes for it to cool down.
This is a mix.
Him and the baby did? Ba?
Well, you're gonna have to record it.
Ba gonna be ba.
I'm back at the
Hello, it's me, Bernie Sanders.
You can't do Bernie.
I can't do Bernie as well as you can.
This is America. Democrats for president. Oh, I bit my fucking tongue.
Thank you guys for coming to my lovely holiday bread video. If you'd like to make a loaf for your family, your children, someone else in your life, you can use this recipe.
If you want to subscribe, go down there. If you want to like this video because she's so great, go over there.
Also down there.
Also down there.
My previous videos on this side of the screen and my previous vlogs on that side of the screen. I will see you in my next video.
I won't.
Bye!